Hey guys, we want to welcome Ryan Cummings and Josh Boothe from KAMO and MoYak and All American Series to the show. Guys, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, man, really excited to have you guys on here. Missouri, we're very fortunate to have the lakes that we have and the clubs that we have, especially having two clubs that fish quite a few of the same lakes. I know that we're each club is trying to find their own spot and get in there, and really thankful to have two clubs here. And Ryan, we'll start out with you and talking about KAMO and talk to us about how your guys' season's going and just kind of what you guys got going on right now.
Yeah, so our tournament's a little bit different than like how MoYak did. It's been around for 6 years. A lot of us we all cut our teeth with MoYak. And then it kind of branched off, and that's how we kind of got our start. There was pretty much 7 or 8 guys that came over, guys and gals, I guess. They came over and started KAMO, and what we were really trying to push for was just a statewide tournament. We had guys from all over the state wanting to fish different lakes, and I'm from Kansas City. We had St. Louis guys, and we had guys from the Ozarks and stuff like that that obviously wanted to hit other lakes, and that was really the kind of the drive for our club. This year's going really good. We've had a pretty cool list of lakes, to be honest with you. One thing that we started doing a couple years ago was doing like a Roadrunner style where we had multiple lakes. Last year it was Columbia area tournament. And believe it or not, I was unaware of this until just a couple years ago, but there's like 140 something lakes around the Columbia area. And so it's tough if you're not from around there and you don't know anything about it. But it's really cool to kind of go hit a bunch of different places that you've never fished before. And that's kind of the basis behind our club too. Get some people in some different water. All of us still Jones for that same group of lakes down there around where Josh is at. And we all love fishing those places. But this year, we hit, the normal Stockton, and we hit Pomme de Terre this year, which we hadn't hit. When we got to talking, we hadn't hit that one since the last year that I fished with MoYak. So it was kind of nice going back to that lake again. And that was the lake that you guys, your team came in there and cleaned house, which was really cool. Seeing the young guy, I can't remember his name.
Robbie.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Robbie.
Robbie. That was so cool to see him, his first big win and pull a pretty good check out of that thing too. Just to see the look on his face was awesome, And that's what it's all about too, is bringing new people into the sport and young guys, and not seeing the same faces every single time. And I think that really helped us too with doing the the divisions type thing. That's something at first we got a lot of kickback on it. Guys were like, "Yeah, just pay the top 10% and be done." Well, the first year we did it, we were skeptical, man. And when we did it, it was really cool to see some guys that you would never see up on that podium, that coming home and with a check to their loved ones or wife who's always giving them a hard time, coming home, spending all this money and have nothing in their pocket at the end of the day, So that was really cool. And it's been a really good success with us. It's never been done in the fishing industry or in the fishing tournament side of it. Nobody does that I can find does anything like that. It's a division's kind of like motocross, or we're not the first one to come up with this idea. So it's really cool to see it, and it paid out like that time too. There's across the board, everybody gets a little bit of money.
Yeah, and it's neat when you do that because, like you said, maybe there's no big payday, but it keeps guys coming back, and it's pretty neat. I know Robbie, he was sweating a little bit because he just bought his first truck on his own, and he was like, "Hell yeah, I'm going to be able to pay my taxes." So he was so excited. It was a pretty cool deal. And you know what? To be a first time guy, just getting into kayaking, kayak fishing. I mean, he's fished all his life, but he really, after he came to work here at Eco Fishing Shop in Camdenton, he started kayak fishing. And to say in his first year that he won a tournament, I told him, nobody knows how many people were in the tournament if you're standing on the podium holding a check. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's just awesome to be part of it and get out there and just get involved. So pretty cool event for us, for sure.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was neat, like I said, seeing him, and we still talk about that. Like, how cool is that to have him come out there and then, of course, win it all too, But it's always a good feeling. I remember the first day that I got my check, and I think it was the year with Boothe there, and that was pretty neat. Like, it's a whole nother world for sure. But Yeah, it seems to be. I mean, we kind of. I mean, I like it. It seems like we're getting really good feedback with it. This is our third year with it, I believe, that we've been doing it. So I don't know. Hopefully next year it'll be good. We'll see what the turnout is up here. That's the one thing, unfortunately, we kind of struggle with a little bit is getting a consistent, solid, big number of people to show up. And I think it comes down to advertising. A lot of it. I haven't figured out. I don't have a degree in that, and I don't know how to do that very well. So that's definitely on me. But hopefully we can turn that around and get better with it years to come. So.
Well, the beauty of our state, and we talk about this on our podcast all the time, and we, this thing goes out to people kind of all over. So the beauty of our state, and even like in Arkansas, I mean, Arkansas's got like 4 or 5 different, trails. And then, Missouri, I think there's another one that just kind of kicked up this year in southern Missouri. And, I think that's kind of cool because, I mean, and there's a lot of crossover guys. I see a lot of guys that are in both and kind of jump in and out and here and there. And I think that should be welcomed, and it's an awesome thing because it gives guys the opportunity to fish more and get involved with the sport. So whatever trail they're doing, you can always find something. And one thing we talk about here, being at Lake of the Ozarks, is if you're going to be vacationing in Missouri, get on KAMO's website, get on MoYak's website, get on these websites and find out if there is something for you to get into. Maybe you come down here with the wife and kids and you want to jump in and join a tournament just to fish one while you're on vacation. I mean, there's a pretty good chance you can find one with you guys both doing such a good job.
Yeah, we work really hard between Boothe and I, trying to figure out that our dates don't clash. I think it's only happened like once or twice that we've been even back-to-back weekends. So we do a pretty good job at trying to really separate those so that families obviously don't get in trouble with, being gone every weekend long. So we do a really good job with that. But, like I'm up here in Mazingo this weekend. We go all the way down to Wapapello, Bull Shoals, Taneycomo, Columbia, try to get out to we go to Mark Twain, but try to kick out towards that St. Louis area a little bit. So we do try to hit the entire state versus, staying in one little area, which all of us Jones to go back there. And I think next year you're going to see that kind of going down there a little bit more, kind of changing things up again. And like I said, everybody's jonesing to go back down there and fish those big lakes again. But, our club, with the way that we started it, was to try to make everybody happy and go all over the state. And it has worked really well. We picked up members, even out of the state that have come through and, we're close to home or whatever. And they've come and fished with us, which is really neat because we're close to their house and this is the place they wanted to fish, So that's kind of neat to see that actually play out and work. So.
Yeah, Ryan, you guys are up in Monzingo this weekend, but what else do you guys have left on the schedule for the year?
Our classic is what's left in the year, and that's going to be down at Wapapello. So that'll be the end of the season for us. We still do one like an online for a charity event in November, which is open to everybody. All of our onlines are open to everybody. So it's pretty cool. All of our tournaments, I guess, technically are, but.
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. How many guys you got signed up for Monzingo so far?
I meant to look at it today. It's like, I think right now it's only sitting at like 23, I think, something like that. There's a game up here this weekend, so some people are wanting to go to the game, and that might kind of screw us a little bit. I know there's 2 guys that live up here that normally fish us, but they're going to the game instead. So that's kind of the bad part. Yeah. Northwest Missouri State always comes through. It seems like they're always really good.
What has been your guys' best turnout this year as far as lakes?
I believe the best that we had was Palmy, and I think it was Palmy at I think we had like 33 or something like that. I think there. I can't quite remember the full number on that one.
That was a fun event. And I can tell you one thing that and I'm not a tournament guy. I'm a more of a recreational guy, but then I like to go do the tournaments and just be around it. And I can tell you, both of your organizations, probably the one thing I think that you guys definitely deserve a lot of credit on is just how well you guys run things and how open and welcoming not only that your clubs are, but the men and women in your clubs, and a lot of them are a lot of them are both are in the same, but I think that goes a lot to the guys running it, and you guys do a heck of a job. And that's, like I said, on our podcast, we talk a lot about if you just go do a tournament, even if you don't have any interest in being a tournament fisherman, go do it, because you'll end up with friends. You'll end up with guys and gals that are in the sport that we love. And you guys both run a great show. And like I said, I think that, it's just one way to meet like-minded people. And you're both clubs that I've been to are very welcoming. So you guys do a great job with that.
Good. That's good to hear, for sure.
Josh, man, tell us about MoYak and how that season's gone so far this year.
Oh, it's been going really good this year. We've continued to grow every year. We get larger and larger numbers, and this year has been no exception to that. It's been a great time. Like you guys said, we've got a great group of anglers that live in this area. I don't know if it's just kayak anglers in general around here, but yeah, everybody gets along really well. We've got great welcoming people that are always there to help, and that just makes everything work out so much better when everybody gets along like that.
Yeah, we just got done with Bull Shoals for MoYak as well, which we went down there with a couple guys and fished the tournament for that. What's left on the schedule?
We have one more stop left on Palm de Terre, and then we'll have the end of the year championship on Table Rock.
When Ryan and Ryan, what's on your guys' classic? What are the dates on those?
It's the 1st and 2nd of October. We do a 2-day tournament.
And then what are the dates on MoYak's championship?
October 22nd and 23rd.
Oh.
Very cool.
Josh, what kind of turnout do you think for Table Rock? It seems like we get so many guys, whether they're from Arkansas or Missouri. What do you see that being like this year?
I think we'll have a good turnout at the end of the year. Numbers always go down as the season goes on, and hunting season starts up and guys are out in the woods, so that affects the numbers too. But I think we'll have a really good turnout at Table Rock, because we are starting to get some more of those guys from the NSKA group in Arkansas. Some of those guys are starting to come up and fish on these border lakes with us, so that's increasing our numbers as well too.
How is All American going this year?
It's going like clockwork. Everybody's having a good time. We've been really lucky to hit a lot of these lakes at the right time, which is what we really tried to focus on more than anything, was just being at the right place at the right time. And a lot of these lakes really fished out this year and showed out. And I'm excited to get the next year's schedule put out, because it's going to be even better than it was this year.
I mean, other than Texas, it was pretty good, right?
Yeah, we're not going to start quite that early next year. The first tournament on the All-American schedule is going to be around the first week of March. Then it'll be down in Texas. Yeah,
man, that was crazy. We were, headed down there, planned everything, and then this freaking snowstorm comes through, and we're like, are we really going to, I think Saturday it was raining, and it was high of 37, and I think Sunday was just as cold, but it wasn't raining, but it is what it is,
Weather was crazy at the beginning of this season. It seemed like every event was just some other kind of disaster, and Mother Nature was coming, so...
Hey, I did my first one, was Lake of the Ozarks. The weather was absolutely atrocious. And I said, yeah, that was my last tournament. Done. And it won't be, but holy cow. Lake of the Ozarks was tough too. Lightning and rain and colder than heck in the morning. But some good people showed out and some good fish were caught.
Weather is always definitely a factor when you're in a kayak.
I think the coolest thing is, like I said earlier, if you're a guy who just wants to jump in and the divisions are something that really interests you, because you feel that's what kind of motivates you to step into it, because you don't feel as concerned about getting overwhelmed from the divisions, which KAMO, you guys take care of that, to a guy who wants to fish every other weekend so he can do KAMO and MoYak, to a guy that wants to go against 50 to 100 guys, or a guy who wants to do 2-day tournaments. You guys we are so blessed in Missouri to have you guys running these things where there is no excuse to not be out fishing almost every weekend in the state of Missouri.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you want to? I'd want to be on the water all the time too. This is a great place to live. We've got all these great lakes. Like Ryan mentioned earlier, we're lucky down here because we've got Stockton, Table Rock, Truman, Pomme de Terre, Bull Shoals, KAMO. We've got all these lakes that are all, if someone was living right in the center, they can get to every one within less than 2 hours.
I can tell you it's a great place for a kayak shop.
Yeah.
It has not been bad.
I bet not.
Yeah, and then like Ryan said, and then all the bodies of water that we don't even touch. I mean, so you see all this, the capabilities and of moving out to the eastern and western and different sides of the state. I mean, north and south. It's just there's water everywhere in this state, and we're lucky that we're using them. And I think between the two of you, you're going to keep on covering water.
Yeah, this year we started with last year we started with the river series too. So we've got guys that are spread out across the state that are just fishing these rivers, and there are some beautiful rivers in Missouri as well too. Not just the lakes. We've got some great smallmouth floats, some great scenic floats. In fact, I think probably half the people in the sport probably started out floating creeks and floating rivers and fishing for these smallmouth in these creeks. I mean, especially out east. Central, there's good rivers everywhere in Missouri too, so we're really lucky in that aspect as well.
And Josh, jump into that and kind of explain how you did that, because I really like how you divided it up, because it's no longer, hey, you're going to fish this river like we would do with lakes. I like how you set that up and did that. Explain how you've got that set up.
Yeah, well, if you're going to have a river tournament and you've got everybody on the same stretch of river, then it's going to be really crowded. Everybody's fishing, right behind each other, and that's no fun. Nobody wants sloppy seconds on a river. You want to be out front. You want to be hitting those honey holes first. So I split it up into regions. I split the state up into 3 regions, basically just kind of based off of the highways. It made a nice little three segments. We've got the central region, the eastern region, and the western region. And then anglers can choose any river in that region to fish. That way everybody's kind of in the same place of the state, but they're not all packed on the same creek or the same stretch of river at the same time. So it kind of puts everybody on the same type of water about as close as you can without being on the same river. So,
yeah, what's cool about that is you can go, north to south with that as well. I mean, you can, if you're up in Kansas City area and you're in that Western division and fishing that tournament, I mean, you could easily fish something closer to home and not have to, travel a ways to get onto a river that you want to be on.
Yep, exactly. It gives everybody a chance to probably fish on their home river at least once or twice a year.
Yeah, and I think that's why I say I'm not much of a tournament fisherman. I'm more of a rec guy, because everybody I started fishing with, it was all river stuff. I mean, I've got an autopilot 120. Absolutely love the boat. You can put a lot of beer in that boat. But I mean, I have a Jackson Bite, and that's my river boat, and I really enjoy it. And I almost see where there's probably a lot of room to grow that.
Yeah, I think there is too. Is once we get a little more established and word gets out, the river tournaments are a lot of fun. They're low entry fee, and we allow everybody 12 hours. So they run from 6 in the morning until 6 at night. Anglers can float and fish anytime they want. So that gives everybody plenty of time to float their favorite stretch of river or the stretch that they pick out. So it's just kind of a whole day float. And we've got the team side of it too. So guys can buddy up and float with their buddy and have a shuttle buddy and just have a good time on the water while competing for a chance at some money.
And you do a championship on that as well, correct?
Yep, we're having a championship where we put everybody on the same river. We're going to be on the James River this year, which it has multiple access points where we can kind of spread out a little bit. But yeah, and then the Angler of the Year is going to get a brand new canoe flint kayak from Varus Network. So
nice. That's awesome,
guys are fighting for a new kayak as well.
Excellent.
Josh, tournaments and All-American and KBF and all these, bigger regional ones, they're kind of going their own routes. I mean, what do you see for All-American? Do you see that series competing with those Hobie and KBF and all that?
Well, if you would ask me that question a year ago, I'd say no way. But it's starting to. We've got a lot of support, a lot of positive feedback, And there are, there are some good series right now. You got the Bassmaster Trail. Hobie, the BOS series, is clearly the premier kayak tournament series in the country. And then, KBF is still having tournaments somewhere, I think. And but I mean, it used to be kind of back in the day, you could pick a couple of these circuits and fish, bounce back and forth. Like you mentioned earlier, you could fish a KAMO tournament one weekend and a MoYak. Guys were doing that on a national scale too, traveling, but that's kind of starting to go away as these trails kind of start to get their foothold and establish themselves. Now everybody's kind of picking and choosing. So you've got people that are just devoted to fishing the Hobie series. You've got guys that are devoted to Bassmaster, and there's actually a few guys that are devoted to the All-American series as well too. So I think everybody's kind of just picking a side right now and maybe dabbling in one or two on the sides, but everybody's kind of focused on one series. I think that's where we're headed in the future.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting how guys, pick and choose those, because I mean, some guys are just, I want to stay in this region, and fish those tournaments, and then, make their schedule off that and do them all. And then you've got guys that are, hardcore BOS guys, and they're like, I'm going, and wherever it's at, I'll be there. So it's really cool to see the sport grow, and even in the local clubs, those numbers go up, and just get the involvement. It's really interesting.
And you see guys like Chad Davidson that, is doing a little bit of everything. I see him on the KAMO stuff quite a bit, on the monthlies and different things. Of course, we see him in the MoYak stuff and the All-American, and then you'll also see him doing, other more national events. And Luke Burris is
Lance.
Lance Burris. Luke is his, I believe, nephew, but you can tell he's a local. I know them all. Lance, he was in today, getting ready to head out and, do a Hobie event. So, I think it's a good testament to what you guys do and what directors, in being with Eco Fishing Shop, we get to see this. I think one reason why some of those national tournaments are not, I wouldn't say suffering, but it's because of how good each state is doing with guys like you guys that are, we get to interact with a lot of them, and, the Peach State guys and the, Niska and Tennessee and all the different states that, Queen City, and we see all these guys at these local trails are not only are they growing, but they're starting to get attention from vendors, from manufacturers, from, people starting to understand that they can get with you guys and get some pretty good exposure.
Yeah, that is definitely changing in the sport as well. We are definitely being able to provide a little bit more of a return on investment for sponsors because we're reaching out to more people and we are growing and having bigger numbers. We're having some of our tournaments are bigger than a lot of the bass boat tournaments around here. So companies can get that exposure. And I know, like in MoYak, and I'm sure in KAMO as well too, the guys around here, they stay loyal to these companies that support us and they buy their products. Mm-hmm. And I've heard it from so many of our sponsors that they just say, well, MoYak guys buy stuff from me year round, and I don't know about, but they tell me that. So I know that the guys are appreciative of the support they get from these companies, and they turn it back and they do purchase product from them. So there is getting to be some more room for some bigger sponsors to step up with a little bit more. At this point, we've basically been getting a lot of product. We've had a few cash sponsors here and there. But I think we're getting to a point where we might be able to get some big time sponsors and be able to really jack up the payouts in these tournaments and get some more support. That would be great. Especially for the All-American.
Yeah. And on the Eco Fishing Shop side of things, you walk in our door, you look to the right, we got a 70-inch big screen that's playing, different, kayak propaganda. And then we have a KAMO poster and a MoYak poster. And we just really push to support both you guys. It's a little easier for us when you get somebody that comes up from Illinois or which we had some folks drive down from Illinois and bought a kayak today in St. Louis, or from Iowa that we really, we tell them about KAMO and some of the different lakes and bodies of water that you guys are in. We have brand new people. We just try to let them know that, hey, look at these options. I mean, between the two of you, you can find a date that you can get involved. So, we really try to support both you guys and really drive some stuff. And hopefully we can do the same next year and continue to help drive the sport. it all comes back to all of us in the end, for sure.
Absolutely. That's to add with what Josh said with the sponsors and stuff. It seemed like a couple of years ago, everything kind of went towards the real big ones like Hobie and KBF. And I think that was pretty much Bassmasters that it kind of dulled off. It was really tough to kind of get sponsors for a minute. And it seems like now it's coming back. We're getting more tread, with that, where people are seeing this is the grassroots side of it. And they are getting bigger and more exposure. So that's what we've seen the last year and a half, that people are reaching out to us now and, hey, we'd like to sponsor with you, or do some prize packs and stuff like that. So that's really cool. And like what Josh said too, I think we are going to see bigger numbers of stuff that we can give out as prizes or bump up those pays, the payouts, and that'll be nice too, especially for this local stuff. Versus not everybody's going to go out and fish KBF, Hobie, or BASS, or All American. Some people are intimidated by that. So if we could do more, on our end of it, with our local clubs between KAMO and Josh there with MoYak, that'd be real enticing for everybody here close by, Yeah,
and I think the cool thing is too, when you guys do that, you guys are producing some sticks. I mean, and those are the guys that eventually, will start going out. Robbie Brewer's a good example. I mean, if Robbie will do, all the KAMO events, and then next year the plan is to try to get him on as many events as he can get into. He's 18 years old, so there's no reason why he isn't fishing every other weekend somewhere. And if you can get that to where he's just honing his craft by getting in KAMO events and MoYak events, then he gets a little bit more confidence where he can step into All American and then go do some national events if he wants to. You guys are just producing some serious fishermen because of the ability to fish as often as you want.
Yeah, there's some great anglers in Missouri too.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of us grew up on the water, hunting and fishing is part of the lifestyle here. So just goes back to what we were talking about earlier about just being lucky to be here in the Ozarks. There are some great anglers I've seen, like talking about with Lance Burris goes out. It doesn't matter where he travels to in the country, and he's got a chance of winning that tournament. Chad Davison is stepping up. He's showing now that he's a contender to win anywhere he goes. There's a lot of anglers like that are very good. And I can tell you from a tournament director standpoint for the All-American, a lot of the other clubs, they're not going to admit it, but they are intimidated about coming and fishing in Missouri against Missouri anglers because they think they don't have a chance against some Missouri guy on his home lake. So that in itself speaks for that other people in the Midwest have actually recognized that fact that some of these guys are really good hammers.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing, Josh.
I'm always interested, KAMO and MoYak. What do you guys think? You think you guys ever do like a Mo top 10 and take like the 5 best guys from each club and do kind of like a championship between the two? Do you think that it could ever work out or do something like that?
I don't know. Never really thought about it before.
Yeah, never thought about it, but now we will. It'd be fun to do. If anything, it would be cool. A bunch of friends hanging out.
Yeah, take the top 10 or top 5 from each club, that finish in the AOI points. And, MoYak does the Taney 20, which is really cool. But it'd be cool to have some Missouri rivalry, nothing crazy or anything, but to compete against another club. And I mean, even that third club that's coming up, if they've got some numbers and do that. I know we do the championship with MoYak and KAMO does your classic. But it'd be kind of cool to maybe get some vendors involved with that and see if they can donate some stuff and do something like that and just maybe do a Missouri traveling trophy, and each club gets who reigns, that year.
It's not a bad idea.
Heck, you never know. It may end up being the hooked Tournament of Champions. And we may have to make that happen, boys.
Me and Josh will definitely be on the phone soon. That's for sure. That sounds like a good idea.
I like the idea of a traveling trophy. That's pretty cool.
That would be neat. And I tell you what, guys, that's one reason why I wanted to have you guys both on. Is a lot of people think, and this is not a state thing. This is an everywhere thing that, I'm sure that there's guys in Arkansas that are in one club that think that they're against the other clubs. And then you got guys that are in both clubs and don't really care. They just want to fish. that's what we're all about here. And that's why we really appreciate you guys both getting on and realizing that, hey, you guys are anglers, you guys are fishermen that set this thing up and are running with it and just providing a service to all anglers, not one against the other, but you're both promoting our sport proudly, and we appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what it's all about. It's fishing. We're just out fishing and gambling at the same time. So, I mean, we've got our state championship at the end of October. That's open to anybody if KAMO and members want to come fish it, or like you mentioned, the other one, Western Missouri Kayak Anglers, they're starting up this year, so they're invited to come as well too. So it's open to everybody in Missouri.
Ryan, is there any qualification for your guys' classic?
Yeah, there is. You have to fish 3 tournaments with us to be in there. And the first, every year, the first tournament of the month, there's an AOI online in March. And so a lot of people sign up for that, and then you can always drop one. So, but yeah, you have to compete in 3. So that is one of our qualifications for it. That's
cool, man. That's exciting. So hopefully you guys have a good turnout for that. And I'm sure a lot of the KAMO guys will be on Table Rock for the championship as well. Who was it Shane Kuhn? Is that, or no, Justin Kuhn?
Justin Kuhn was Justin Kuhn won last year. Yeah, he's the reigning champion right now.
Yeah, so it's really cool to see, KAMO guys and MoYak guys get together and duke it out on Table Rock. It seems like that's always a really big event and a really good time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been there a few years. I know that's always seems, I mean, Josh could tell you a better number, but it seems like there's always about 10 or so that run over there and go do it. Just kind of whatever lines up with the schedule. And we always send quite a few guys, it seems like, always get the interest to go over there and go fish. So everybody loves the lake, so that always helps too.
Moving forward for next year too, we're going to do a random draw for the championship. So it's not going to be on Table Rock every year. We're going to start rotating around, do a draw for like the top 3 or 4 legs from the season. We'll probably just do a random pick and then go there. And I like the idea of not announcing the championship location for like 2 or 3 weeks before. So it makes it a little bit of a surprise. I think we're going to do that next year.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Pretty cool to 2 weeks out or 3 weeks out, try and figure out where you're going to go fishing. And it's almost like having an off limits for it, but you really don't know where you should be fishing or where, going. That's pretty cool.
Well, that puts everybody on a level playing field too. Some guys can't go camp out on the lake for a month or something like that. And,
Yeah, cool, or Kuhn, Ryan, who lived on there. He lived right there.
He definitely had advantage there. Which, I mean, he's a stick. He does well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When we all fished together on MoYak, he was one to watch out for sure.
Yep. He still is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, any sponsors, any shout outs you want to give before we get off of here and, talk about KAMO or anything else you got going on?
Yeah, we should be having our schedule normally comes out first of the year. Take a look, get involved with that. If you guys want to keep an eye out, you can always reach out to me or any of the board members, really, and Steve Lehman and them. And then the one who really got us started with this whole thing, the biggest sponsor we have is Extreme down at Power Sports down there, or Extreme Outdoors down in Branson area. They are just amazing. The Jig Shack is awesome with us. There's kayak cushions, one of the big ones. Another good one for us. I mean, there's just so many. Slick Baits is one of them. I can't remember all of them. I have them written down, and then I always forget half of them. That's how it works. But everybody helps out with this deal for sure. But Extreme definitely has been there from the very beginning and bends over backwards for us, and we love them for that. That's for sure.
Ryan, if guys are interested in getting involved or getting, being a club member or anything like that, what's the best way to get information on your guys' club?
You can always get on the Kayak Anglers of Missouri Facebook page. That's a good one. We have our website that's updated after every tournament. We always do the AOI championships or AOI points on there. But definitely the Facebook page is just a plethora of information on there. It has our schedule, any events that are coming up, contacts, our rules, everything's on there. So that's the best way of getting a hold of it. And then from there, you can get a hold of all of us too from that if you have any more questions that aren't answered for you.
Yeah, my wife jumped my tail the other night saying, what in the heck is this charge for $190 to Slick Baits? I was like, I saw it on the KAMO Facebook page. It's awesome stuff, man. I had to have some. So I got a rod from them, and so they're great people. I've talked to them quite a bit, and I learned from them through you guys' website. So great company.
Yeah, absolutely.
Josh, what about MoYak? How do guys get signed up and find out information from you guys?
You can look on our website at moyakfishingseries.com, or you can also get some information on Tourney X as well. So we try to keep Tourney X full of info. So those two locations, and for the All American kayakseries.com, it's got some information there for the Midwest Regional Series.
And we'll be sure to attach all you guys' information here so that people can get straight to you guys and make sure and get in it. Another thing real quick I want to talk about and just mention, we're doing a tournament here, Big Bass 250. Great that you guys are supporting that and helping where you can. We really wanted to make sure that we avoided your dates, and we really wanted to do that as something where throw some big money at it to try to get new anglers in that after they did the tournament, they're like, I'm going to start doing this. And then they look for you guys, and we have no interest in doing what you're doing for sure. But we appreciate that, and like I said, it's going to be a pretty cool deal. And I know KAMO and MoYak will be well represented, and like I said, just another tool in the state to have fun and try to bring people to the sport.
It's always awesome to have more and more options. That's always a good thing.
It's going to be a good event, definitely.
Well, guys, seriously, thank you guys for all you guys do. I know a lot of people don't see what you guys do and the hours that you put in, and just from being in the kayak industry. Thank you for guys doing that, and like Travis said, we'll put all the KAMO and MoYak's information down in the description below, and that way you guys can get on their pages and check them out. And maybe you're not even in Missouri, maybe you just want to check out a club and kind of look at stuff there, and maybe you want to drive down for one of our tournaments to see what it's really about. I can say personally that every event that I've been to, whether it's KAMO or MoYak, it's been a great time. I could, not catch a single fish, but going to the check-in, going to the meetup, it's always a great time.
Yeah, you guys do great at what you do. You folks watching, if you don't know, now you know. Check into these two guys, the KAMO series, the MoYak series, the All-American. If you want to get a boat in the water, these are the guys you do it with. Welcome everybody. They treat people with respect. Everybody has a good time, and hit them up.
Josh, Ryan, thank you guys so much for being on here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Hey guys, we appreciate Josh and Ryan both, man. Great conversation with those guys.
Yeah, man. If you have not been to Missouri for a kayak tournament, just come on down.
Yeah, I keep harping. There's no reason you can't be on the water here.
Yeah.
And like we talked about, and I keep beating it to death, I'm sure, but whether you are actually a very competitive, wanting to get into it, wanting to sling with the big boys, or you just want to just kind of get out with a group of friends, or if you just want to meet people, man, we have tons of options in this state.
Yep. As you would say, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Guys, but seriously, get in your clubs, find your club. If that's what you're interested in, if you just want to meet some buds, same thing. Get on the groups. You don't have to fish these tournaments in order to get involved in these groups and meet other kayak anglers and enjoy the sport. But get into it. And I think, a great time would be November 5th. We're putting on a huge tournament. If you have not heard, it's the Big Bass 250. It seems like every day we've got another guy signing up. We got another guy interested, another call or another Facebook message or question. And I think this is gonna be pretty big. If we're gonna be honest here, we're sitting here like sweating because we're kind of stressed out. We're worried about stuff,
and we want to tell you things, but we got to hold on just a little bit before we tell you.
Come on, just tell them that we got confirmation about one thing.
I get confirmation on which thing?
Okay,
I got at least 3 more kayaks committed today that will be given away. One will be a little.
Don't spill the beans. Let's keep it.
Okay. Well, there will be a collaboration between motor and boat.
Ooh, let's
on
go.
One of these.
Let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty sick, and it'll be a giveaway. So,
so you're telling me all I have to do is sign up for this tournament, and we're going to give kayaks away.
Deep into
So like I could not catch a single fish and probably leave with a kayak.
I wouldn't say probably, but you can probably leave with something.
So if I decided to not help you run the tournament and fish this tournament, do you think we can?
You are ineligible to fish this tournament. But I can tell you this. There's a pretty good chance that you're going to walk away with something. And whether that be Yak Attack, Dakota Lithium, some of those kind of things.
Stop. We're
it's
not
probably going to happen.
Let's build the suspense.
Let's
Let's keep them watching. Come on.
Stay tuned for a flyer as we get moving.
We're slowly. I think every time we put out a new flyer, there'll probably be a new sponsor on there.
I think there would. And I think that between the vendors and the manufacturers that we have, and got to keep on giving props to Eco Fishing Shop. They are funding a bunch of it as well. So if we have something that we want and we can't get a little help on it, we got it anyways.
Yeah.
Because Caleb and Jared are going to make this thing happen. Johnathan and I are working tirelessly trying to get this thing to be just a really awesome event, a destination event. I think we've got I'm actually pretty excited about the states that are represented so far. I know we had, 7 guys so far in one group that are coming up just as an outing from Illinois.
Yeah.
Very cool. Was on the phone with one of them today. And guys, that's a good point. If you guys have questions, we've had several emails this week. Almost every email that we followed up on, people have went ahead and signed up. Call the shop. Get a hold of us anyway if you have any questions. We would love to talk to you about it. The vendors are doing really well for us, and like I said, Eco Fishing Shop just as a main sponsor of it is just, I mean, they want to make it great, and not to mention some of the sponsors that we're going to have locally here at the Lake of the Ozarks that are just people trying to draw. I mean, November at Lake of the Ozarks, you're not going to have any problem finding lodging, but some of those people are going to get involved, and stay tuned for some more content on that. Because we're going to try and make it easy as we can for everybody involved.
Yeah, if you are a big fan of Ozarks, the show, great time to come see some of those spots and hang out.
Go have a burger at Marty Bird's.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I mean, it's a cool place, and November is a great time to be here. All the big boats are off. The Big Bass Bash is, I believe, the week or 2 weeks before ours. Purposely got away from that. But a lot of the big boats are off the water. The bite should be absolutely phenomenal. A lot of our local guys are saying that's the best place to be in November. And I think it's just a good time to be here. Like I said, lodging is usually a problem. And as we've went to Bull Shoals and some different places like that, it's tough to find something. It's not that way when you go to a vacation destination, because they are people with rooms that are dying to get them filled. So that's one reason why we did it at kind of that time of the year. And we look forward to having anybody and everybody come to it.
Yep, definitely. We talked about, and I've reached out to quite a few clubs and, shared our flyer with them. But the plan is to also do something for those club guys that came down as a club. Maybe do a side pot for them, do something interesting to pique their interest, that they can not only compete individually, but they can, have a club opportunity. We'll work out the details on, what that looks like once we get closer to the event. But if you're one of those guys that say, you know what, I don't think I can go do it on my own, find 3 or 4 guys, 5 guys, and see if you guys can get them all together, travel together, find a spot together. And that way it's that's where it all starts. And just like we talked to Ryan and Josh, it's all about these clubs. It's all about this, and that's what we want. We don't necessarily want the big event crowd and whatnot. We just want to get back to the grassroots and give something back to these guys that are doing it regular. I think we're going to have a really good showing of a lot of new anglers. I also think we're going to get a really good showing of a lot of anglers that's been doing it for a while and want to just, have a good time and enjoy it. And I mean, 10 grand is, it's not a bad take home either.
Could be 20.
Could be 20.
And I tell you what, I think one reason we should be really proud of our sport is after talking to Ryan and Josh, and then doing some of the things that Johnathan and I have been doing the last 3 or 4 weeks, and that's reaching out to clubs all over this country. There are Ryan and Josh's all over that are doing a great job. And these guys, I feel for them sometimes because they're guys who have kind of almost give up their fishing to be able to do it. But, we're finding just great people all over this country who are building their own local trails, and we're getting a lot of those guys that are coming up from those trails to come do this tournament. Our hope is that the anglers that we have, a guy from Alabama who he just bought a brand new autopilot from Eco Fishing Shop. It landed. He said, I'm going to come do this tournament. I'm hoping that when he's done doing this tournament, he goes home, finds his local trail, and all of a sudden he's spending money with them. He's getting involved, meeting people, and next year he wants to do it again and bring 10 guys.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the guys out of Illinois. 7 guys are coming. Their club has 30 members. I mean, that's pretty cool that they're doing that.
It's really good numbers.
Oh, absolutely. And then there you go, absolutely. But there's like I said, there's Joshes and Ryans all over this country, and I'm proud to be part of that. I mean, they do a great job with it.
I think maybe next year. I think maybe we travel to some local clubs. Maybe talk to them, get them, or even bring them on the podcast. But go check out some other clubs and highlight them on here. Maybe I think off-season, wintertime, I think that'd be a great time to bring tournament directors on here to just talk about their club, whether it's California or Pennsylvania. It's always it's what it's about. It's about the clubs and where it started and how it gets going, and I think that would be really cool to do.
I think it would too. You talk to when we had Jeff Little on, talking about some of the guys that he has that are just diehards. I mean, how many people have a smallmouth tattoo?
Yeah.
And there's those guys, and it'd be fun to get out and just get with those guys and bring them in. And like I said, the tournament that we're doing is really a promotion of the sport for the angler. That's why it's an open. There's no qualifying. Just come get in it. That's why we're working so hard. We wanted it to be big money so that people had a chance to to win the kind of money that you can if you've fished a bunch of Hobie events and then qualified and then got in their championship. We wanted it to be that kind of money for the average guy.
Yeah.
But then on the other side of that, that's why we're working so hard to make sure that we have a ton of giveaways so that guys can win rods, reels, T-shirts, hats, kayaks, stuff. I'm not going to go too far with it, but there's all kinds of stuff that you can win and just help promote the sport that we love.
Absolutely.
So, guys, stole my line. Guys, get signed up. If you have any questions, give us a shout. Johnathan will make sure that all the information that you need is where you need it, and all mine, all his, and we appreciate you guys watching the show. Again,
get hooked. Adios.
Peace.